Welcome to Significance Breed Success. I'm your host, Daniel Puder. Today I have Wilna Francois. She is a rock star. She's out of South Florida. I'm out of South Florida. You're a family therapist. I love therapists. You guys add so much value to, the world and people growing and everything else. You've worked at Nova. You went to Nova. I had a course there, which was awesome, Nova Southeastern University.
Nice. What did you get a course in?
So I actually taught a course called GPS for Life. So
Okay.
it's a course I created, and it's an emotional belief intelligence course. So
I love it.
it's a lot of fun. You guys deal with emotions and beliefs all the time.
All the time.
So let me ask you, why did you get into family therapy? Like, was there something you saw as a kid and you were like, you know what, I want to go help the world? Like, what was that thing?
All right. So I'm going to try to make it as quick as possible, right? Just in a synopsis, pretty much. And I give you my whole life story, but I will give it to you in like 5 seconds or so. But, okay, first, I'm originally from Haiti. And I moved here when I was 13. And you know what happens with the culture differences. Moving from Haiti with the mentality that I had, coming to America at such a young age, I had to acculturate very quickly, right? So I acculturated, but now my family remained with the same mindset, right? The American culture is not for them. Just in a short way of saying that. And being the black sheep of the family, I've always been different from my siblings, different from everybody that I'm surrounded with. My parents will tell you that very well. They don't know that I am their child since I'm so different. So as a teenager, I gave a lot of issues, and that we had a lot of conflicts because our views were different. So as a result, I felt isolated from my family. I felt like I could not relate. I was like, something has to be done. Why is this family so dysfunctional? I cannot be the only problem. So in undergrad, I was supposed to go to for nursing, and I decided to transition to psychology after I took intro to psych, and I became very interested about the human mind, about the behaviors, and understanding why people do the things that they did. So for me, I was inspired by my family because I was really eager to understand why they behave the way they behave and why they made the decisions that they did. So personally, I wanted to fix my family. And I wanted to fix every other family. And it's not until I began my graduate program that I realized I cannot fix these people. I can't. However, I can modify my perception towards them. I can choose how I perceive them and react towards their behaviors and actions, and that can help to solve the problem. And of course, after I obtained my degree, I did a lot of group therapy with everybody in my family to make sure we talk about our issues and really become transparent with one another. So that's what inspired me, is because I love helping people. I love seeing people grow, and I love seeing people change. In addition to that, I really wanted to understand, like, why couldn't we function? And the program really gave me that clarity that I was looking for.
I love what you said about I can't change them, but I can change my own perspective or my own view, what you're saying about viewpoint or how you interacted or took it in. That's amazing, because I was talking to one of my kids today, one of my kids at one of my schools, and he's talking about challenges with his father. And I said, here's the deal. You can perceive him however you want, and you can live in regret because he doesn't love you how you want to be loved, or whatever your thoughts are. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, you get to choose.
Yes.
And now you have a choice.
Yes.
It depends on if you choose to acknowledge that you have a choice and do something with it, or if you choose to be victim and not do anything for yourself.
I love it. You said it. You nailed it. We can either be survivors or victims. And I can relate to that child or that student because I didn't feel loved by my dad for a very long time. And it's not until I turned 26 that he finally told me he loved me. He never said it because culturally speaking, Haitians do not tell their kids, I love you. they do so in action by providing, by paying the bills, and ensuring that they have food on the table and clothes on their back. That's their I love you. However, I've come to know that we all receive love differently. Some of us need to hear it. Some of us needs to be assured of it. And until they are aware of that, they won't be able to provide for us emotionally. And that's what I had to teach my parents. And now every time we hang up the phone, guess what they say? I love you, my daughter. You know, we came to the, and I'm like, yes, I finally broke through him. You know, so I felt very successful because I longed to feel loved by my father. And growing up, I didn't always understand that that was his way of showing me his love. It was through his action.
Isn't it really interesting how we think something, then we as humans expect somebody to do what we think without them having any thoughts or value behind the meaning.
Right.
And then when they don't, then we get frustrated that we're not loved.
That's psychotic, isn't it? I think that's crazy that we can expect somebody to just behave the way that we feel like they should behave in our mind, right? Without expressing that. And I definitely agree. We have to share, or we have to express to other people, hey, this is how I receive love. My love language is physical touch. So I need you to hug on me. I need you to kiss me every time you see me. Listen, there are studies that prove that hugs helps you relieve stress, okay? And I am a firm believer that if you hug me 15 times a day, I'm gonna be a lot happier than if you don't hug me at all. So absolutely, we have to express our thoughts because we're not mind readers, and that can also impact intimate relationships as well because the person is trying to love you. You have your expectations. You don't express those expectations, so now they both have conflict with each other. Now, how can we express how we feel and move toward expressing or speaking the love language of the other person so that they can be satisfied?
So I love that you brought up love languages too, because I got a great story.
Okay.
It's short, but about 15 years ago when I was a pro athlete, my father was having a challenging year at work, their company. So I sent him $100. He could have paid for himself, but I sent him $100 as a gesture. Take my mother out for dinner, buy her roses, and get her a card. 3 very simple things. And I told him, buy roses that are alive and beautiful on the outside, and take mother where she wants to go eat. And my mom calls me next day and goes, oh my gosh, the flowers are beautiful. The card was sweet. The dinner was amazing. Dad put little Hershey kisses all throughout the house, like on the couches and little heart shapes and da-da-da. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And then I thought to myself, oh no, my mom's allergic to chocolate.
Oh no.
So first he tries to butter her up and then he tries to kill her.
Oh no.
Not really, but you know, it's crazy that, so what you just said about love language is so powerful because he wasn't looking for how she wanted to be loved. He was looking for how he wanted to be loved.
Right.
But I find that in everywhere. Like we do this kind of work with our own staff to get them to understand their own stuff.
Yes.
And once in a while, you know, staff, they don't get it yet. It's not cemented into their mindset of like, wow, I can just ask for something versus complaining about it versus, you know, taking it out on myself versus being a victim.
Right.
So how do you work with people to get them like, I mean, it's family therapy, but you know, families are challenging today.
Oh yes, very challenging. It makes my job a lot harder. Can you imagine having 4 different individuals in your room in addition to yourself? Everybody have their own opinion. Everybody is talking on top of each other. Nobody is listening. The communication is not effective at all. It's very difficult. However, as a therapist, you have to use what they call maneuverability. How do you maneuver in the room? How do you put a stop sign? Hold up, mom and dad. Let's listen to little Johnny. Okay, little Johnny, what is mommy saying right now? It's more about helping each other listen to each other, right? Because we have the tendency to just talk, and provide a response. But we don't talk. We don't listen to understand. We listen to provide a response. So when our parents are talking, especially when we become annoyed by our parents because they are nagging us about the same topic all the time, we kind of build up this barrier, right? And we're not listening. So we miss out on what they're saying. So in therapy, it's very important to get everybody to be on the same page. And that can take a long time to do, but that's what the process is all about. It's not gonna get fixed under one session. It's gonna get fixed after, consistently coming and working on those issues and being willing to be vulnerable to the other person and for the other person to make you feel safe to share how you're feeling. So it's a lot of work that needs to be done.
So what I find in your space, it's amazing because, there's a mother, there's a father, like you grew up in Haiti, I grew up in California.
Nice.
There's, some kids grow up here versus maybe in Haiti or another country where, the parents went through a lot of struggle, and
Yes.
here there's not as much, let's say, maybe there's financial struggle, but there's a lot more opportunity than some other countries.
Yes.
My fiance is from Portugal, and then she's from Cuba. She's born in Cuba, and then she was raised in Portugal and Cape Verde Island.
Mm-hmm.
And, just seeing perspective of, her dad being a part of a major international organization, same with her mom, traveling the world. Like, I look at this stuff too internationally, of like, because I was raised in Cupertino, California, home of Apple computers. So I was raised with privilege compared to 99% of the world.
Absolutely.
And I find that there's still challenges in families because of past experiences.
Yes.
So how do you help people see their past experiences so that they don't bring those past experiences or the past hurt or whatever those challenges are into current relationships?
Well, first of all, they have to identify that they still holding on to those past hurt. And it's so funny you brought that up because that's been the topic this week because I run group therapy where I work now at Serenity Behavioral Health. I run groups every single day, with individuals who are recovering alcoholics and drug addicts. So they are in a recovery. And the conversation was overcoming hurt. We have to identify what's causing us hurt. And a lot of them have been abused physically, emotionally, verbally. And they have to really allow themselves to be vulnerable to go back. Unfortunately, it might be re-traumatizing or you're re-experiencing the issue, right? But you also have to understand, hey, because you didn't have such a great attachment with your family, that causes you to fear intimacy. So now you put up that wall with your current significant other and you're unable to understand why you cannot trust this person. Well, let's go back. Let's think about it. When did this start? You have to ask questions to elicit certain emotions in the person and certain, unfortunately, memories that will help them understand, oh no, I went through this when I was a kid. So absolutely, I'm very reserved when it comes to intimacy, either on a physical level or on an emotional level. And some people are not emotionally available because they're still dealing with that past hurt. Either somebody, cheated on them, so now they lack trust for their significant other right now, even if there's no clue per se that the person is being unfaithful. But because of they're still lingering, they still have that past hurt in their mind. They have not let it go. They have not healed their heart. It's causing an issue. So we really have to work with each other, and we have to be patient too, because not everybody reached that time at the so-called expected time frame. Some people, it takes them a while, to be able to admit to themselves that they are still hurting from this past hurt. And like you said, experience does play a role, and how can we be aware that, okay, the reason why I don't like to spend a lot of money is because I know that I'm used to not having enough. I know what it means to not have anything. So I can appear frugal to my husband, right? Oh, I don't want to spend money on that because I want to be able to have that financial security. If it's there in the bank, I know that if I have an emergency, I can, tackle into it. But knowing you have to be able to find a balance. You don't have to fear ever going back to that poverty. I have to remind myself of that. So I'm more, I guess, aware or more cautious when it comes to spending because I know what it means to have to make a meal out of 2, 3 ingredients. you know, because of where I'm from, because of the fact that, like you said, I didn't have that privilege. But you couldn't tell me that I was not privileged when I was in Haiti because I didn't know what it was. What I knew, it was until I moved here